Hey there, Knicks fans. We are so excited to announce that Fanatics Fest is back in New York City this summer, taking over the Jacob Javits Center from Thursday, July 16th to Sunday, July 19th. You can meet your favorite athletes from every major league, including current Knicks like Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and Karl-Anthony Towns, and the legend, my guy, Patrick Ewing. Catch live podcasts and panels featuring some of the biggest names in sports while experiencing interactive activations from top leagues and brands. You could also grab exclusive merch and discover one-of-a-kind memorabilia from sports and entertainment, buy, sell, and trade collectibles with hundreds of top dealers, and best of all, connect with fans from around the world who share your passion for sports. Tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com, and when you use that promo code KnicksFilm10 at checkout, you will get 10% off your purchase. How about that? It's an extra day of the world's #1 sports fan festival coming together under one roof, and you will not want to miss it. Okay, so they're a little likable. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by Fanatics Sportsbook, where we are rolling. This team, man, this fucking team. What a crazy season it's been. What a crazy season it's been because it really has had it all. And I think the more I've been doing this year, the more I've started to kind of connect this team to last year's team and kind of group those two things as one, even though there are some obvious differences. And I'm just going to say right off the bat that since this team was assembled in the way it is in the summer of 2024, and honestly, we could go back further than that. We could just go back to like the entire Leon Rose era. And like, I mean, we could go back further than that. I don't want to get too crazy right off the bat. I don't know that I have seen a Knick team playing as well as this team is playing right now at this very moment. No caveats, no timestamps. The way the Knicks are playing right now, with absolute control over what they want to do at both ends of the floor, pretty much at all times that they are out there against some of the absolute tip-top competition in the NBA. We could just keep it to this era, the Leon Rose era. Considering January 2024, that team that we have fond memories of, obviously, considering even at times they were rolling last year, you could even go back to when they won the NBA Cup in December. I don't think we've seen anything quite like this. And I think that's the only appropriate place to start because it is now, I should start marking like BC and AD before crash out and after after demise. I don't know. And since obviously they haven't gone undefeated since that Piston game out of the break. They had a pretty rough outing in Cleveland against the Cavaliers. They obviously lost their most recent game to Oklahoma City, but there is something about how this team is playing right now that is undeniable. And yes, obviously getting a 39-point win in Denver, one-upping their 38-point win in Denver from November of 2024 certainly helps a lot. I don't think anything that I'm saying is about tonight specifically. I think just tonight serves as good a time as any to commemorate what it is that we are witnessing, because the turnaround from where this thing was in early January, when obviously it looked like they were never going to win another game again, and they put forth some of the absolutely most dispiriting, despondent, depressing performances that we talk about, things from this era, of the Leon Rose era. Again, we're not talking about this is a turnaround from 2 years ago. We're talking about this is a turnaround from 2 months ago. And yeah, then they reeled off a lot of wins in a row. And then something about that night coming out of the All-Star break, I think, I know just because I heard from people, I wasn't the only one who felt the way I felt about that night. And that night made me feel the way about this team based on, again, a year and a half's worth of evidence. So for them to do what for me is a 180 and play this level of basketball, I mean, I could just sit here and wax poetic in the way that I am for the entire monologue, but I want to get on to actually talking about the basketball game. So I'm going to cut myself off. But like, we have to acknowledge what it is that we're seeing. We have to acknowledge how well they're playing, the effort that they're playing with, how much these offensive possessions, it feels like they are getting whatever they want, whenever they want. And I know this is going to be an OG Anunoby postgame, as it should. But I think the first guy I have to give credit to is Mike Brown tonight, because Tibbs was fired. I said I thought it was a move that they had to make for a variety of reasons. The Mike Brown era, I think, has gone well, or had been going well, even with the tumult of 2-9 and some of the more dispiriting losses, for sure. But it really does feel like this guy had a season-long plan that he was slowly putting the pieces in place for something that I think is coming to fruition right now, in which they are executing on, again, it's not just on offense. I mean, the Denver Nuggets barely cleared 100 points tonight. They ended up with 103, same number as Oklahoma City got the other night. And that was with the best player in the world looking as good as you're ever going to see that dude look. Like, it is both ends. And they know exactly how do you judge a great team? You don't judge a great team by whether the shots are falling. You don't judge a great team by how their best players are able to, go one-on-one and make tough buckets. You judge a great team. A great team, they are playing great when it's all the puzzle pieces fit. And it doesn't matter who's in the game, but everything just goes together. And it looks like everybody is on the same page as everyone else. And you have to have not only the execution, you not only have to have a mastery of the game plans, but you have to have extraordinary amount of effort. And that's the other thing this team is playing with. So all right, I'm going to cut myself off because, again, I told you I go on a whole monologue just saying a whole lot of nothing other than this team rocks right now. But let's get into some specifics. And I actually want to start with Nikola Jokic. And I'm going to I've been watching the NBA for 33 years. 93, 94 was my first real season watching the team. Best two, as is the case for anybody who probably watches the sport over that period of time. Best two players I've seen over that time are Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Nikola Jokic is in that group. He's third in that group, but he's third. He is in the group. He is in the group with those two guys. And I think you could watch Nikola Jokic play basketball for weeks and not see him have a more dominant performance inside the arc than he did tonight. I think he missed one shot from 2-point range, ended up with 38 points on 21 shots. Finally got a 3 to go at the end there. And again, top 3 player of my lifetime watching this sport, operating at the absolute peak of his powers. And he was not the best player on the floor. And it was not close. Because OG Anunoby, he was teammates with Kawhi Leonard once. And I think there was something about that experience, even though they only shared the floor for 1 year. Obviously, it was a very successful year, very early in OG's career. But I think ever since then, that is the guy that in his mind, he compares himself to and he puts himself up against. And that, look, these are professional athletes. They're all super confident. I really have very little doubt that in OG's mind, he thinks that if he had the proper opportunity, he could absolutely do what Kawhi does on a regular basis. And tonight he was every bit of Kawhi Leonard and then some. I don't know what it is about the air in Denver. I don't know. Maybe it's something he likes the hotel room that or the hotel they stay in when they go to Denver. Whatever it is, something about this place agrees with him. And I'll just read the stat line: 34 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, 0 turnovers, and 6 of 11 from deep. And he just went on. There was a stretch in the third quarter where he was just throwing it up. Didn't matter what he threw up; it was going in. When OG Anunoby plays like this, you can't beat the Knicks. You really can't. And I can say that with confidence because the Knicks' best player tonight shot 3 of 13 from the field, and they won by 39 points. And I understand Jalen Brunson had actually what I would call a very good game, despite the fact that he shot 3 of 13, ended up with 15 assists. Everybody who played significant minutes had, I would say, a really good game for the team. But you really, all 5 starters, all of them, very good performances. And Mitchell Robinson right up there with those 5 in terms of just exceptional play. But OG, just different level for him. And this is a level that he could reach sometimes. We've seen it before. Look, he's not the sort of player that you expect to get this from on any sort of a regular basis. But it is kind of cool to know that the guy who is the Knicks' 3rd best player has this in his bag sometimes. And what I love about OG, and I've kind of been speaking about this recently, and I had a feeling this something like, I don't know. I didn't know if I felt like this was coming, but I've said it over the last couple of times that I've been in front of the mic. OG, it's not like one game on, one game off, couple of hot ones, couple of cold ones. When he gets going, he gets going. And you felt it. Even with the 4-13 from 3 against Oklahoma City, you felt it was coming. You felt the confidence starting to build in him. He has had, a couple of down stretches this year. And so I think now he's on one. And hopefully he's on one for the rest of the season. So kudos to OG Anunoby for absolutely dominating this basketball game. But you don't win by 39 in Denver on a night when the best player in the world is operating at the peak of his powers without contributions from every single player on the roster. And we could start going through those right now. And I think the guy that I personally want to go to next is Karl-Anthony Towns, because I've kind of echoed this sentiment on some recent post games. I will say it again here. What he has done since the break is without question the biggest development, as I'm watching on the MSG postgame show, him, the play where he took Aaron Gordon off the dribble and finished it with a thunderous dunk in the second quarter, back when this was actually still a basketball game. But it was more than just one play. He is finally doing some of the things that we have been wanting him to do. Again, it hasn't been super consistent. We really didn't get much of this against OKC, but again, OKC is a very unique beast in this league. But Cat put up some threes tonight, which you like to see, even though he only made 1. You never like to see games where Cat doesn't put up threes. Put up 4, made 1. But most importantly, using his physical presence inside the arc and really making it a point to punish Denver anytime he had what he considered to be a mismatch. And they put some different defenders on him. He made absolute mincemeat out of them. And he did it from at the top of the arc. He did it from inside. Again, I know he only, got 7 field goals, and one of those was a 3. Only shot 3 free throws. I thought Towns was at the absolute peak of his powers in this game. And I said it after the last game, I mean, I was like, there's a little bit left that I still want to see. There's a little bit more that I want to see them build into the offense to feature a guy that we know is good enough to be featured on a great offense. And I thought they did a great job of that tonight. Again, the fact that he only finished with 17 points or whatever, I don't care. He was dominant. And so he gets the next billing after OG. And then from there, I mean, we could go in a lot of different directions. We could certainly talk about Josh Hart, who I know some fans were frustrated at the start of the game. Knicks spotted Denver in 11-2 lead. When the starters went out, Denver was up 13-8. I don't know what it is about Josh Hart. I say this because someone whose basketball opinion I respect very much texted me in the middle of the first quarter, surely maybe seeing some of the discourse that happened as a result of the starters starting off slowly, and just asked me, like, why do so many Knicks fans hate Josh Hart? And I won't share what I said in response, but there is something about him, and when the starting unit gets, is not firing on all cylinders, which again, they got some good looks, I think, out of the gate, but it was not, it was different from what we saw from the rest of the game. And I just think there is something about it when that group doesn't function properly, and when Hart maybe either gets opportunities he doesn't take advantage of, or you could feel his presence out there, whatever the case may be, that really just twists a certain type of fan up in knots. And I get the frustration. I understand the frustration because I'm obviously in the pro Josh Hart camp. Even I get a little frustrated. The part that I think is worth remembering is that this guy impacts winning in so many ways, and it is just it is awfully convenient how often that gets forgotten when the team goes through a little bit of a rough patch out of the gate with the starters in there. And I think it just happens because it's the first thing you're seeing in the basketball game. It's not a stretch that comes in the middle of the second quarter, the middle of the third quarter. It's the very first thing that you're seeing. And you see it, and then you forget that, oh, wait, Josh Hart tonight, 18 points and 8 of 12 shots, 5 rebounds, couple assists, really impactful in a lot of different ways. You forget it. And it would be nice if people didn't forget it quite as readily. Because this guy is such an important player for them. And I lost count of the amount of winning plays that he made tonight. And oh, by the way, I threw these stats in the Knicks Film School newsletter today. Shout out to all my people on Substack. The starters' numbers overall have gone down. If you look at the starting unit's net rating, it's about even in the first quarter. It's not good in the second quarter. It's negative something or other. They are flat out dominant in the second half. Like, this starting unit in the second half of games has about 160 or so minutes under their belt, 170 minutes under their belt. And they're destroying teams in the second halves. You can go look up the numbers on the NBA.com's lineup page. I forget if it's like plus 18 or plus 10 or 12 or 15 or something in the second halves. Like, it's dominant. So again, it's not this unit. And sure enough, starters at the end of the second quarter outscored Denver 8-3. Starters at the beginning of the third quarter looked awfully good. It's not the unit. Something happens to this team, I think, out of the gate. I don't know what it is. I wish I knew what it is. I'm sure Mike Brown wished he knew what it was. But awesome stuff from Josh Hart. Really solid two-way game from Mikal Bridges. Like I talked about Jalen Brunson, 15 assists for the second consecutive game. You love to see him really still being a positive force and helping his team. And boy, oh boy, does he continue to fight on the defensive end. And then again, everybody was good tonight. Mohamed Diawara with my favorite tip-in of the season. That rocked. Alvarado continues to inject something very important that this team needs. Landry Shamet only hit a couple of threes, but I thought they were important threes. They were early threes when this game was still very much in doubt. And then Mitchell Robinson only ended up with 13 points, 9 in the first quarter. I think he had might have had all 13 pretty early. 13 points in 14 minutes. You want to talk about making an impact in your time. 5 rebounds, 4 on the offensive glass. Just an absolute classic, high impact in a short amount of time Mitchell Robinson game. And yeah, I mean, just everything you could possibly want to see from the Knicks tonight, I think you saw. You saw them battle back from an early deficit. You saw them withstand some real punches from Denver. I mean, again, it's crazy because the final deficit ended up being, or the final margin of victory ended up being 39 points. But like Denver was, because Jokic just wouldn't let go of the rope because he's that good. Denver, like this was like, 11, 12, 13 points for like most of the third quarter. And the Knicks just would have none of this ever becoming a basketball game. And you could tell me, like, obviously Murray went out. You could tell me the Nuggets stink on defense because they kind of do. And you could tell me they had a really cold night from 3. And I'll respond like, all that's fair. I think the Knicks defense had a lot to do with the fact that the Nuggets had a cold night from deep. Like, at what point do the Knicks get the benefit of the doubt that other teams get when teams just so happen to shoot poorly from deep against them? Could it be because their defense puts so much pressure on the opposing team that when teams do get a semi-open or even just like a not fully contested look from deep, the pressure is on them? Like, their defense is operating at such a high level right now. I have to think any team that is going against them is just feeling an immense amount of pressure to make everything anytime they get a sliver of daylight. And a lot of those threes, they didn't really have that much daylight. Again, the coverage, the closeouts, the screen navigation, just forget screen navigation, just the way this team is battling through screens on defense. And that's why there is nobody who is undeserving of, like, Alvarado, Shamet, like these guys, Diawara, these guys are fighting through every screen. Like, there are no more lazy closeouts. There are no more sloppy closeouts. Like, all of the T's are crossed. All of the I's are dotted. I don't know how else to say it. Everything you want to see from this basketball team right now, you're seeing. And that allowed Mike Brown to go ahead and put his bench in with 8 minutes and change to go. It allowed them to have a relatively low-impact, stress-free night in arguably the toughest place to play in the NBA. Brunson played the most minutes at 34. OG played 32. No other starter played more than 27. You love to see that with the back-to-back in LA coming up in a couple of days. So I thought that was obviously fantastic. What did I miss? I don't think I missed that. I mean, just you really just can't say enough about it. I mean, like 142 points, pretty good. 44 assists. They've only gotten more than that twice in the entire history of their franchise. They got 45 twice. Once against Cleveland in 1979, and once, guess where? In Denver last November when OG Anunoby set his career high. Those are the only 2 times I've gotten more than 44 assists in a basketball game, and they got 44 tonight. Largest win over Denver, again, one more than that game last November. It's everything you want. It's everything you want from this team. And I'm just, it's really fun to watch them right now. I don't know how else to say it. It's really fun to watch them right now. I am officially highly anticipating what they're able to do, not only the rest of the regular season, but obviously in the playoffs. Because if they're going to play like this, man, and that's the last thing. I knew there was something else I wanted to end on before I went to the rest of the show. And shout out to Sean with a W, who has been all over this for this entire season. At some point, I think we need to stop the narrative that the East is the little brother conference, because all I see are the Knicks continuing to win all sorts of basketball games. And guess what? They can't make up any ground in the standings, and they can't even really pull away from Cleveland, who is behind them, because the top 4 of the East are just like continuing to be dominant. And meanwhile, you look at the West and like, yeah, OKC is OKC. Great. We're always acknowledging that. Like, San Antonio, well, took care of them twice this year. Denver took care of them twice this year. Houston and looked all that impressive recently. Lakers, they barely have a positive point differential on the season. And Minnesota's the one team they're like, you respect them because their ceiling is so high. But even that team is not like completely without its flaws. So like you look at it and it's like, all right, I think at least 4 of the best 8 teams are in the East. You could argue 4 of the best 7 teams are in the East. You might be able to argue 4 of the best 6 teams are in the East. It's not crazy. So again, we got to start talking about the conferences this year in a way that is realistic and respectful, because at some point, the sample sizes that we're seeing from these supposed heavy hitters are what they are. And you can only escape that shit for so long. So that's the last thing that I wanted to say. Let's get to the best bets. Of course, our best bets presented by Fanatics Sportsbook. We were very close to having a 3-for-3 night. What happened? Oh, wait. Are we getting?
Read the sign. Put your headphones on.
I didn't even read the screen. I hear you now, and I see you now, and I see Mark now. What?
Oh, you're just amazing. What did I do? I am just again reading what's on the screen is fundamental, kids. The New York Knicks, the likable New York Knicks. I echo Jonathan Macri's sentiments. Get the Western Conference up out of here. We are a fairly officiated game from a perfect week, ladies and gentlemen. And Jonathan, I say this on behalf, and honestly, not just to you, but to anybody else that crashed out after Detroit, all 40% of you, you're welcome back. Welcome back to the community, because you're now rooting for a contender in the Eastern Conference, in the NBA.
We were always rooting for a contender.
Bill Simmons, adjust your rankings, sir. Joe House, you are welcome in MSG anytime. And yeah, shout out to Jokic, who looked more like the Joker once he took away the 2-point ball tonight. Third greatest player ever. Third highest blowout of the season. That's right. The Knicks have 2 bigger blowouts than the one you saw in Denver tonight. That's right, Jonathan. Oh man, Mark, that was fun. That was so much.
It was a lot of fun.
You know, it's fun.
It's been so fun the last few weeks, ever since the crash out. I gotta say, like, it's
John nailed it.
It's
BC. It's BC.
I said
now on the timeline is BC before crash out and after.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I got to think of a good D for AD. No, I said it.
You think of a good what?
Oh God.
I said it at the top of the following monologue when I was joking. Obviously, you're welcome. I will. There's always interesting things that I'm looking forward to seeing come out after a season is over. I wonder what if anything happened about like after that night. We know what
happened.
What?
You crashed out.
Yeah,
they saw it.
All kidding aside,
you motivated the team. Knicks Film School motivated the team.
That's clearly it. Yes,
we take credit for that here at Knicks Film School. We said it after the Houston comeback. We motivated the Knicks. You're welcome is how we should start these things. Not I was wrong. I jumped to conclusions. No, you're welcome, New York Knicks.
You normally come out to music, Andrew. You should cue up the rock song.
So 2 things. You know what? What can I say except you're welcome? See, here's the problem, Mark. Copyright's a thing, and they let us know the last time. Shout out to the fine folks at Journey. I will say, I'm not messing with Disney with a Moana song. I will just say there was a song I was considering, and shout out to Jeremy Cohen. Reports from my pregame show guest, Brendan Vogt, who's from the DNVR Nuggets over at the All City Sports Network. He reported that the Knicks locker room is right behind where they do the press conference, and you could hear loud music over David Adelman giving his answers, and he was like, hey, they can celebrate. They kicked our ass tonight. And he said, that's a great song. The song that was being played was Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. Blasting. Shout out to Jeremy Cohen, who said it when he was responding to John, being like, the season is still unwritten.
It's a great song.
It is a great song. You and David Adelman and Jeremy and the Knicks apparently agree.
It's a great song.
If there was ever more of an indication this team is entirely too online, it's that. But it's that we clearly have an effect on the New York Knicks. It's that. So there you go.
Maybe the Knicks whisperers right here.
Well, look, they've checked every box. I guess other than the Detroit box, they've checked every box. And I would love to know what, if anything, happened after that game. I would bet anything that they are excited to get another shot at those guys. Which obviously
they might get it if the Detroit doesn't lose to Charlotte in the first round.
Tough loss for Charlotte. That was a great game against the Heat. I had that on one TV and then the Tatum game on the other. Shout out last thing before we get to best bets. Shout out to Jason Tatum. We'll talk a lot of shit towards Boston and Celtics fans and the whole thing the rest of the way. For that dude to be on the basketball court, whatever it is, 10 months after tearing his ACL, or Achilles, insane, absolutely insane. So yeah,
that was a beautiful tribute to the opponent that you so desperately need to respect. Jason Tatum, in his return to action tonight for the Boston Celtics, finished with 15 points on 16 shots. So inefficient Kobe Bryant basketball has returned to the Boston Celtics after the beautiful basketball we saw for the first 4.5 months. Congratulations, Jason Tatum. We appreciate. Well, we congratulate you for coming back. John is right. That is an admirable, inspiring thing, but also, thank you. So this very, I was going to say this Achilles heel that the Celtics have. That's probably a poor choice of words. This weakness that the Celtics have when they go to you and all your long twos has welcomed back into my life. So, Knicks in 6, as always.
Always, perpetually.
Mark, can you put up the fair play graphic? Por favor.
The fair play?
Best bets, you mean?
No. Fair play. This is why I'm here, actually. So here, I'm gonna do it for you.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't,
You're good. So what happened in the game tonight, as aside from the Knicks blowout win,
yes,
Jamal Murray got hurt in the first half and didn't come back, which means fair play was activated on behalf of our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook. What's up, Mark?
I think I actually may have been affected by this.
Really? Well, so Jeff
I
J.
have to double check, but I had a Jamal Murray bet
parlay,
and he went down with 1:48 left in the first
which
half.
Still counts. It was at the if it's any first half injury, it activates fair play as long as the player doesn't return to action in the second half, which he didn't because obviously they're being cautious and obviously the Knicks were taking belt to ass. So
I can attest that this is for real.
I know. Fair play is for real.
Yeah, no, it's legit. They're the only. Nobody does it better than them.
There you go.
Fanatics Sportsbook is like head and shoulders of everybody else, where they take care of people when something bad happens. It's out of their control.
Shout out to Kevin.
Yes. Right? Shout out to who?
Wasn't it Kevin who was on our John's?
Oh yeah. The guy from the All-Star break. Yes, the guest. Shout out to Kevin.
I don't remember.
As a reminder,
sorry.
As a reminder, Fanatics Sportsbook's fair play injury protection covers all first half injuries. That's why there's no better place to bet. And tonight, that proved it in Denver when Jamal Murray went down, when Denver lost their all-star point guard and it activated. So if you, Jeff, the example I was going to use, Jeff, for his betting and sweating picks tonight, took a Jamal Murray op bet, which voids out. He doesn't lose anything. He doesn't get credit for the points. But had he put real money on it, you would not have lost any money on it. So shout out to Fanatics Sportsbook, the only people that do this. Winning hits different here. Shout out to Fair Play. And then, yes, I will now let you go through the best bets.
Thank you, Andrew. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, especially
I'm staying
on nights like, good. So you could stay to celebrate a good night. I think it's the first time we've gotten 2 out of 3, right?
This week,
this week. Mensa gets the biggest ovation here because he took Nuggets team total under 114.5 points, showing real faith in the best defense in the NBA over the last now 22 games to hold the best offense. I think they came into this ranked as the best offense in the league. Under 114.5 points. I have been updating the NBA advanced stats to see if the Knicks have climbed any more in defensive rating. Haven't been updated yet. I'll get back to you on that one. I went for a Karl-Anthony Towns over 10.5 rebounds And just a little behind the scenes, you'll like this nifty little parlay. I did Towns over 10.5 rebounds and parlayed it with a Towns double-double. Got a little plus 104 on that, thanks to 25% profit boost. So hit that, which is lovely. And then we were a rebound away from hitting the parlay. Unfortunately, Christian Braun, in part because I think, how many minutes did Christian Braun play because of the blowout? He still played 31 minutes, so he had an opportunity, but needed 5 rebounds, only got 4, so we lose that one. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So as a reminder, you can check out Knicks Film School's official best bets before every game right in the Fanatics Sportsbook app. Yeah, there you go.
I will just add one thing. Oh, before we do brunching with Brunson, I'll just add one thing. Mensa's bet, if I could take you behind the scenes into the betting and sweating group chat. I forgot I was off today, but that was my bet that I put into the group chat. And then Mensa was like, I would also like to take this under of 114.5 points. The Knicks have allowed less than 113 points. I believe the stat I used yesterday was 16 of the last 19. So that's now 18 of their last 21 games. Wow. So this is real, like legitimate trend that you can follow. Just take the other teams under in every game, and the Knicks are winning you money. So
the defense is so real,
100% real.
I will have qualms about the offense from time to time, as I'm sure a lot of fans do. The defense, I never thought in a million years I'd say this. I have no worries about the Knicks defense anymore. None.
Wow. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it keeps up.
We'll see. Okay. And now, this Sunday, is this going to be our final? Yes, this is our final reminder of our Brunching with Brunson watch party at Penn 6, right down the block from MSG. Kicks off at 2:30, 3 p.m. Tip. If you want to do the bottomless brunch from 2:30 to 4, you can. It's $50. Basically all the breakfast and brunch beverages you could possibly want. Got first 25 RSVPs getting a or a bucket of neutral, which looks absolutely delightful. And if you still have an RSVP, but you're thinking of coming, please do RSVP at tinyurl.com/KFS brunch. We will pin that. Yes, pinned at the top of the chat.
Already.
There you go.
Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window. I don't know the rest of the words.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the last.
Feel the rain on your skin.
World that you cannot find breaching. Something in the distance. So
we got to get the barbershop quartet going.
Release your. Wow, do you know this? Do you know the words? Wow.
Yeah, listen. That song was like a top hit for a long time.
Your skin, no one else can see it for you. Only you can let it in.
No one else.
Speak the words on your lips.
There you go.
Hear words with something spoken. Something arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. Go Knicks, baby.
That was spectacular. All right, I'm by myself again. Okay. Now, can I take the headphones off now? I'm sorry, I didn't read the. I'm Ron Burgundy. All right, let us get to some super chats. People have been very patient. We've been a little extended intro here, but we'll get to everything as we always do. Starting with, I'm sure we had some super chats. Oh, it's by the way, chat of the night tonight too. So we get to pick one chat that gets $25 in Fanatics FanCash. So let's get some good ones in here. Where are we starting? I am very excited. We're starting with Chris Carter, a former Chat of the Night winner. This is the best the Knicks have looked to me in my entire life. Again, I opened the show like I did for a reason. I don't think it's a crazy statement. And there isn't much left that they have to show us that they haven't shown us already. You know, you can't ask for much harder competition because they've now done this against the top, 3 teams in the West. They've beaten everybody in the league except for Oklahoma City and Denver, or excuse me, Oklahoma City and Detroit. They've shown it. Thanks, Chris, for starting us off here. A couple more from before, or a bunch more actually from before the game ended. Iceman Sham, wow, OG got some personal something personal against Ball Arena. Man, when he did the steal and the double pump dunk finish, I'll get back to that later, to make it 105-77, that's how you knew. You knew. This guy is like, and now we get to see him go up against Luka and LeBron, and then his old teammate, Kawhi. So Clippers, by the way, blew a 25-point lead to the Spurs tonight. So interesting to see what state of mind they'll be in on Monday. Thanks, Iceman Sham. Another one. And first half against the best offense in the league, these guys were blowing up every Nuggets action. Yes. Like, again, it's only because Nikola Jokic was otherworldly that the freaking Nuggets scored 80 points tonight. Now, you could say that about a lot of teams and their best players, but still, like the Nuggets, what makes the Nuggets the best offense is not Nikola Jokic being unguardable. It's the machine. He's at the center of the machine, but it's the machine that makes them the best offense in basketball. The Knicks shut down the machine tonight, and it's not easy to do. Thanks, Iceman Sham. J-Rock, what's going on, J-Rock? Towns is finally in his Zen era. You can tell he's working hard to not complain as much. It's bringing composure to his whole game. I just think he's locked in. Like, that's the other thing. There's all these things that go in one ear and out the other, and then I'll remember them at a later time. I tweeted out a quote from David Thorpe's True Hoop write-up on the Knicks from a couple days ago, in which he basically was singing their praises in a lot of different ways. But one of the things he pointed out was that Karl-Anthony Towns is having the best defensive season of his career. And what happens a lot of times when guys really lock in on defense is they have a little bit of a drop-off initially on the offensive side of the ball. And he said, like, the odds are that this thing is going to turn around. And sure enough, you could now look at his stats since the All-Star break. It's now 9 games. And I think if you include tonight, I'll see if I can pull it up really quickly right now. Post All-Star. Let's see if we got updated stats. He's basically shooting the lights out of the ball. And I think I see no reason to believe why. Again, there's been concerns about his physical. Is he right? Like, is he getting old or whatever? If you look at what he's done since the All-Star break, here, I got it right here. 61% from the field, 48% from three. 61, 48, 83 from the line. Like, that dog will hunt. That's in 9 games since the break. Like, I think this is here to stay. And when you factor in everything else, he is playing like the second best player on a championship team. There's no other way to say it. Thanks, J-Rock. Austin, what's going on, man? Brunson got tired of hearing that he's ball hog and isn't a passer. Now we got back-to-back 15 assist games. Yes, offense is flowing. Love when OG gets to really pop off. I look, I know it was 3-13. The pull-up 3 was awesome. It was one of my favorite moments of the night. I think it put them up 101-75 was their biggest lead of the game at the time. He's in complete command. And here's the thing. Like, you talk about players who can still impact the game in positive ways even when they're not shooting. Jalen Brunson's absolutely that, because it doesn't matter what he's shooting. It doesn't matter how bad a game he's having. Every defense who guards the Knicks is still going to pay the most attention to him at all times when he is on the floor. And it is, what does he do with that attention? You know, so like, yeah, did he take a couple of tough shots tonight and miss them? Sure. He needs to take those shots. Like, there's no world where Jalen Brunson isn't taking tough shots for the Knicks. That is what makes the defense commit the attention to him that they do. It is, what does he do with the opportunities he has to make plays for others? And that's what you see he's been excelling at the last few games. Thanks, Austin. Pundertaker, what's going on, man? Against teams with 39 wins or more this season, JB is only averaging 24 points a game on 40% shooting, but on the bright side, has 8 assists per game as well. Any concern with the drop-off there? None whatsoever. I've seen Jalen Brunson dominate every team, every defense, every defender, individual defender. He's had a couple of rough outings against good teams. He had a rough outing, obviously, against Oklahoma City the other night. He had a rough outing tonight against Denver. He's obviously had some rough outings against Detroit. Zero concern there. And again, that's not to say that I think he's going to, dominate the best teams when we get to the playoffs. He's had rough playoff games before. But he's every time he's had a rough playoff game or a couple of rough playoff games, he comes back and has an incredible one or multiple incredible ones. Like, he figures it out. Like, eventually he figures it out. I think he's just in a little bit of a slump right now, but he'll be fine. Zero concern. Thanks, Pundertaker. Robert Cross. Oh, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Another one. I wasn't the only Yee of Little Faith. I'll start calling you Yee. First time, long time. It's your boy John. Good to see the toe isn't holding OG back. No, it is not. He is. Watching him like this is something very special. It's very, very special. And it's a interesting conversation we could have about who, just the last 50 years. Who's the best number 3 Knick ever in a given season? Now, I don't think OG's there because he's been inconsistent this season. He's been hurt this season. He's had some down stretches where he's not looked like this. But if you're looking for, like, at their peak in any given Knicks season, like, the season you're going to go to is 93-94 when 3 Knicks made the All-Star team and you're going to pick one of Oakley or Starks. Very different league now. But that would be the only, and then I guess maybe 99 or 2000, whichever one you considered number 3 of Ewing, Houston, or Sprewell would be the other one that I would probably throw out there. But it's a short conversation, and I think he's in it. So thanks, Robert. Anthony Sixto. Dottier dream lives. Early contender for chat of the night. I love it. They've officially locked in. What's more significant? Our showing versus top Western teams or our 3 games versus the Pistons? Hashtag Knicks in 6 in June. This is an easy one for me. It's the showing versus the top teams in the West. Because if you could handle the Denver like this, and you could handle San Antonio like they've kind of handled San Antonio, I mean, they really should be 3-0 against San Antonio. They should be 5-0 against these teams. And I'm sorry, but the refereeing the other night being what it was, which was utter bullshit, they should be 6-0 against Denver, San Antonio, and Oklahoma City. And then, like, they've beaten Minnesota twice since the Towns trade. They've also had a couple of rough losses against Minnesota, but they've beaten them twice. So I think all those games are, because those are against a bunch of different opponents. The Pistons are one opponent. And again, and this is, I'm going to say it until don't talk about the season anymore, which will probably be never. But, like, what pissed me off about the game after the break was not that, oh my God, we're so much far below this mighty Pistons team. It was they didn't show up with the proper level of intensity. If they show up if they play like this against the Pistons, and I believe they can play like this against the Pistons. I'm not saying they'll win by 40 or whatever it is, but they could play so much better than they've played in those games. We have not seen their best against Detroit. If we did, and they still smoked us, that'd be different. We haven't seen anything close to their best against the Pistons. Thanks, Anthony. Another Anthony. Was this win more enjoyable than the Spurs win? Oh boy, we're ranking enjoyable wins this year. I mean, the Spurs win just happened. The Spurs win was a lot of fun. They won by 25. This, they won by 38. Both very enjoyable. Both highly enjoyable. I'm still going that Christmas against Cleveland is my most enjoyable win of the season. This is up there. They're certainly racking up best wins of the year. Like we are getting pretty close to being able to fill out a legitimate top 10 wins of the season, which is very reminiscent of 2 years ago, as opposed to last year when you had trouble coming up with even a handful. Thanks, Anthony. RGC, what's going on, man? What an OG night. So fun when he decides I'm the best defender on the planet. I'm bigger and stronger than everyone attacking the basket. Yes, but it's more than that. So I thought his ability to front Jokic and really make it difficult for Jokic to even get entry passes, that's such a weapon for them, and that's such a different look that they could throw at Jokic or for that matter, any big guy. We saw him do the same thing when he was guarding Wembanyama. We've obviously seen him do that at times guarding Embiid. The fact that he could guard the opposing team's best post player and make it just difficult for that guy to even get the ball is awesome, while at the same time guarding the likes of like Jamal Murray. And then I'm bigger and stronger than everyone attacking the basket. It's so interesting because the last thing I want to do is disparage OG Anunoby on a night when we might have just seen his best game as a pro, but like he doesn't have great touch, and it really is. Does he have the runway? He doesn't need a runway all the way to the rim. He doesn't, but he needs enough of a runway that he could finish with power and with acceleration once he gets basically to the restricted area. And that has to do with, I think, the spacing and, but when you see it, like his drives, you could kind of tell from like 10, 12 feet out, like, oh, this is going to end well. And that's a cool thing. He's dude's awesome. OG fucking rocks. He absolutely rocks when he's playing like an all-star like this. And he was defensive player of the game tonight. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. We got the picture right here. Again, similar pose to how Josh looked the other night. Who's getting we got Cat behind him. That's another badass looking picture. We had a badass looking picture the other night. We got a badass looking picture tonight. Very likable team. How can anybody not like him? Thanks, RGC. Tony, what's going on, Tony? Beat the Nuggets and the Spurs twice, Rockets and the Lakers once. The West is the superior conference? I don't think so. The Knicks would legit be the second best team in the West. Trying to think, like, there's an argument certainly for it. Like you try to find arguments why the West is better. It's basically your argument why the West is better than the East lies with OKC. That OKC is like the favorites and like the clear favorites. Look at the bottom five of the West and tell me that they're materially or better at all than the bottom five in the East. I mean, one of the bottom five teams in the East has Giannis Antetokounmpo on it. Like, he's pretty good. There's the Kings are as embarrassing as anyone. The Jazz try like hell to lose games on purpose. You want to tell me that the East has 3 true tankers, whereas the West only has 2? Like, whatever. And then you look at the rest of the East, like what the Hornets have been doing. Obviously Philly is a real team. Like like Miami, you can never count them out. So like, and then you look at the West, Clippers, okay, whatever. Warriors, okay, whatever. Blazers, okay, whatever. Suns are a legit team, but they're hurt, So Lakers, very okay, whatever. Watch them beat us now on Sunday. But like, no, man, these conferences are equal at worst. Thanks, Tony. David Crockett, what's up, my guy? How you doing? I hope all is well. Shout out to Pacome Dadier, garbage time slams. Yeah, Pacome, probably a career high tonight, right? What did he score? Does he get 11 points? That has to be a career high. I had literally never seen him do a good basketball thing before tonight. That brought me joy. Hashtag let's fucking go Knicks. Yeah, it was cool to see those threes go down. It definitely was very, very, very cool. And I hope it gave him some confidence because maybe there's something there. You never know. Still young, only a second-year player. Yeah, his previous career high was 9. When the hell did he get 9 points? Against the Wizards in November of 2024. It was a blowout. So, yeah. Thanks, David. Z-Big Freeze. Who's your Dadier? Pacome. Clearly. In the running for chat of the night. I will give you that. The Big Freeze. In the running. Who's your Dadier? He's probably been waiting a year and a half to use that one. And now he got to. Joe Vogel, what's going on, man? Why does OG never get talked about for first team all defense? The dude is the backbone of a borderline top 5 defense on a team with Cat and Brunson. You may be able to drop the borderline pretty soon. Okay. So stats have updated. Knicks are now in a virtual tie with the Celtics, who actually had a really, really good defensive performance tonight against Dallas for 6th. Houston is 0.1 points per 100 better than them in 5th. And Miami is 0.3 points per 100 better than them. So, like, they're still a borderline top 5 defense. Why does OG never get talked about in that conversation? Well, he did make first team all defense once. Oh, wait, no, sorry, I lied. He made second team, I think. Yes, it's second team all defense once. I think it's a consistency. For me, it's a consistency thing. It is that there have been some stretches this year where he has been like above average still, but like not notably so. But like, how do you balance, let's say, the couple of weeks where he was like an average defender with stretches where he is the best, most impactful perimeter defender in the game? Or at the very least, in the conversation in like the top 5. You know what it is? It's just a very tough. Like Wemby and Chet, they're like automatic first team all defense. Rudy Gobert again is going to be in that conversation. Has to be in that conversation for first team all defense. So and because it's positionless, you could throw, if you want to throw 2 centers on there, you want to throw 3 centers on there, and then you look around the league. You got the Thompson twins, obviously, they're going to be at the forefront probably of the all defense conversation. Dort is a part of that conversation. Jade McDaniels probably a part of that conversation. Like Kawhi, again, he doesn't dial it up enough, consistently enough, so you can't really put him there. Oh, Scotty Barnes. And I actually think Scotty Barnes will get a little bit of extra credit because he's a very important offensive player for his team too, but I think based on everything, he has to be on an all defense team because the ceiling has just been so high. The last thing I will say, he's at 49, tonight was his 50th game played. The Knicks have played. Oh, so he actually might be. Sorry, you could throw everything I said out the window almost. No. Sorry, you can't throw everything I said out the window. He's missed 14 games, so he could miss 3 more. So that's another thing. Like 14 games missed is not nothing. There's other guys in this conversation that haven't missed nearly as many games. So needless to say, OG can't miss many more. Thanks, Joe. Use Spree, clicking at the right time. Let's freaking go Knicks. Yes. You definitely want to click in March. The only thing better than clicking in March is clicking in April. And then ideally stay clicking into May and June. Thanks, you. Danishevsky, what's going on, brother? So many awesome things to talk about tonight, but I will go with clinching our 5th of 6 years above 500. That did not even register to me, except they didn't clinch above 500. They clinched 500. But yeah, they'll get there. Small, but we would have killed for it not long ago. I mean, we were under 500 for, what was it, 16 out of 19 years, I think? Was that it? 16 out of 19? Yeah. So that's not very good. Thanks, Kev. Good super chat. Punter Taker, what's going on, Punter Taker, with another one? Correction, down to 22.3 points per game against the other top 8 teams on 38.5% shooting, but almost 9 assists after tonight. So again, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned. He's had his struggles. It just means that he is going to be that much better in the postseason when he faces these same teams. Thanks, Undertaker. Hush, what's going on, brother? What a great way to start a weekend. Yes. I would really like them to just absolutely demolish the Lakers just because it's the Lakers, and I don't think the Lakers are a very good team. Might be the best playmaking stretch for Brunson. It sucks it had to come with a shooting slump, but he will snap out of it. Yes, he'll snap. Brunson's going to be fine. Don't worry about Jalen Brunson. I'm not worried about Jalen Brunson. You should not be worried about Jalen Brunson. Thanks, Hush. I am AK Legend. What's going on, man? Happy birthday to Josh. I forgot it was Josh's birthday. And it just occurred to me literally now for the first time that Josh Hart's birthday is 2 days after my daughter's birthday. I wonder if my daughter will grow up to be similar to Josh Hart. That's a scary thought. Love this win. Love this team. Great decision-making all game. Somebody talked me down because something feels different for the better. I really don't want to talk anybody down. I want to just live in the vibes right now. I love that you pointed out the decision-making that this team is executing at right now, because I think, what did they have? 2 turnovers in the first half, and then they had 2 quick ones in the start of the third quarter. Ended with 11 turnovers for the game, which is fine. More importantly, forced Denver into 15 turnovers and scored 24 points off of those turnovers for the second game in a row against how stingy is Denver? Actually, I'm not sure how stingy Denver is in terms of their turnovers on offense. OKC is the stingiest team in the league. Denver, 3rd stingiest team in the league when it comes to turnovers on offense. OKC is 1st. Denver is 3rd. So to turn the Nuggets over 15 times and score 24 points off of those turnovers, that's how to me, that's something that I look for, is because I think this team has the personnel to be a high turnover team, a high defensive turnover team. And I think when they've been playing at their best defensively over the last year and change, I think they've been exactly that. So, and then, oh, by the way, the 4th stingiest turnover team in the NBA is the San Antonio Spurs. And correct me if I'm wrong, they just turned Wemby over, 7 times in that game? And the Spurs, I'm looking right now, 22 turnovers that game. So all of a sudden, the Knicks are doing their thing on defense in terms of forcing turnovers. They're still middle of the pack. for league averages, but they have it in them. They have it in them. Okay, Mark is a little confused by the next one. Kyle, do you have a name for the tip? Hashtag Macri vasectomy. I have no idea what this question is asking. But no, I don't think I have a name for the tip, but thank you. And it's good to hear from you, Kyle. I hope you're well. Brolic Jesus, what's going on? Oh, maybe, you know what? Actually, now I'm thinking about it, before we get to Brolic, I almost forgot my favorite play of the game. But you know what? No, I'm going to save it. Mark. What?
So yeah, that was the only consideration I had. Oh, I got the wrong. Was it the Mohamed Diawara tip that
Oh, maybe.
Oh, what was your thought?
I was thinking something else, but I'm going to save it.
Okay.
I'm going to save it.
Because during the game, Monica McNutt and I forget.
Oh, yeah, they were trying to find a name for the tip. That's absolutely what it refers to. Yes.
You think so?
Yes. 100%.
And she said, get some mo.
Yeah, and Tyler was like, it's a little too long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, God.
Yes, I do not have a name for the tip.
Okay.
It's good. It's good to call out, though. Thanks, Mark. Brolic Jesus, am I petty for not wanting them to get 100? No, man, not at all. The fact that they actually lost a little bit of ground to Boston tonight in the defensive rating rankings is slightly annoying to me, but they're defending at an incredibly high level. And if you just look at how the league is shaking out in terms of, again, the various ratings and such, like there's now a little bit of distance between them and the group of teams right below them, like 0.5 points per 100 possessions. Whereas they're right there. Heat, Rockets, Celtics, Knicks, all four of them are right there. 4, 5, 6, 7. So, yeah. Thanks, Brolic. Hush Zoo, what's going on, Hush? Can the Nuggets pay Watson and keep Cam Johnson too? I know he's in a weird funk, but I'd sign up huge for a buy low candidate like him. Weird shooting season. So Cam is going to be interesting. I'm actually just reminding myself, is he going to be a free agent or is one more year left on his contract? I'm pretty sure I think he's going to be a free agent. But I'm just double checking that right now. No, sorry, he has one more year. I don't know why I thought he was going to be a free agent. $23 million. I don't know where the Knicks are getting are offloading $23 million in salary, so I'm not sure that that's a direction you want to be looking. I mean, Cam's a good player. Obviously, it has not really worked in Denver. And the downgrade from Michael Porter Jr. to him that's been a real thing. But I don't know. We'll see what they do. I don't know. Denver's finances are always interesting because they're a team that, has been trepidatious about spending too much in the past. We'll see what they do. Anthony Parino with another one. Holding OKC and Denver to 103 back-to-back. Very impressive. Again, the defense is real. I have no... I to say that I have no concerns about the Knicks defense after this team was the second worst defense in the league for a month and a half is crazy, but I stand by it. They're defending really well. Their offense concerns me more than their defense, and their offense is not very concerning right now. Thanks, Anthony. Kabian, Andor, what's going on, man? Cat was brilliant as part of an ensemble while a dude from Europe played the lead. Just like Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer. I love the freaking Robert Downey Jr. comps. I was getting a kick out of them. That's good. Good stuff, KB. I have to rewatch Oppenheimer. I've only seen Oppenheimer once. I've only seen it the one time. I got to rewatch. Hush weirdly, the Knicks are Western Conference killers. Yeah, I guess so. They've beaten everybody in the West except for OKC and They haven't beaten Phoenix. I know that. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. I think they only played the Warriors once, right? Unless I might be forgetting. I don't know. My brain is shit. But yes, they are Western Conference killers, 100%. Thanks, Hush. Riyadh, what's going on, man? Could have took that moral victory Wednesday and laid an egg tonight. Kind of shows me this team has shaken the unseriousness that we've shown the last 2 seasons. 100%. And I got to tell you, when they got down 11-2 tonight, I was not worried. I mean, I was like, this is not ideal. You don't want to spot this Denver team 9 points right off the bat. But I wasn't sitting here thinking like, oh my God, here we go again. I just, if anything, I was worried maybe, the altitude was going to get to them and they weren't going to, like, the shots weren't going to fall or whatever, because they did have some misses early. I think the team started out 2 for 9 from deep. They were 2 for 9 from deep in the first quarter. So it's not like they came out firing on all cylinders. And you know what, by the way, what got their offense going? Speaking of Jalen Brunson's playmaking, those early alley-oops to Mitch. There were 3 alley-oops to Mitch in the first quarter, 2 of which came from Jalen Brunson, the third of which I believe came from OG Anunoby. Massive plays in the moment, and really got their offense going off on the right foot. So, and then Cat got going to start the second, but we'll get to him in a second. Thanks, Riyadh. True Statement. What's going on? True Statement. How you doing, man? Truly feels the Knicks peaking at the right time and playing pressure-free. I love that. I love that sentiment. Playing pressure-free, because I think part of my skepticism earlier in the year was that they were bringing stuff with them onto the court that was not productive. And now you see them in a game like this where they go down 11-2 and it doesn't faze them. They were playing hard on defense the whole time. Like, what I did appreciate also, and again, I shouted out Mike Brown, I think, to start the post game. I'll shout him out again now. Great timeout. Down 4-2. Like, Mike Brown, like, you want to talk about a coach that has a beat on his team? They played 90 some odd seconds and he called timeout. Not coincidentally, Denver got a couple of offensive rebounds, but scored off of both of them in the first couple of possessions, where it's like, okay, guys, like, lock in. If you don't lock in against this team, you're going to get run out of the gym. And that's all it took. Again, they gave up some more points and they got down by a few more, but he set them right with that timeout. You got to, any concerns about Mike Brown having the pulse of this team and having the respect of the team? I think those have to go out the window. And sounds good, Mark. Doozer 55. First the Pistons, now the Celtics. The national talking heads can continue to overlook the Knicks as a legitimate Eastern Conference threat. All the conversation is going to be about Tatum, obviously. And look, in fairness, it should. The guy has done something that I don't think we've seen. And I watched, again, I had the game on. I saw him struggle out of the gate early. I saw him get blocked by the rim on the dunk attempt. I also saw him hit, I think it was 5 shots in a row in the third quarter. And look, really, there was one, I happened to be watching the game when he was like kind of on a little bit of a heater, which was capped by him putting it up from the corner with a hand in his face and nothing but the bottom of the net. Look, I've said it. I think the Pistons are, for me, more than Detroit, the team to fear the most, or the team to respect the most. If the Knicks are playing like this, they could beat Boston. They could beat Boston. And Boston, you could tell me that they're one of the 4 or 5 best teams in the league. I think if the Knicks are playing their game, Boston will not beat them. I think they're a fundamentally better team than at least this year's version of the Celtics, and that is with Jason Tatum. But listen, Let the national media talk about whatever the fuck they want to talk about. It's no sweat off our nuts. I promise you. All right. Let us do here we go. I've been looking forward to this moment for an hour and 15 minutes. It is the moment that put me in the mood. Why am I talking about stuff that puts me in the mood? Well, because mood.com is the place that you can now go to. Forget all of your one-size-fits-all supplements that only get you high. Mood's functional gummies, yes, functional gummies, are optimized to kick in as little as 15 minutes and give you the exact sort of mood that you are looking for, whether it's gentle waves of relaxation to help away a busy day or whatever it is. Use that code KFS when you go to mood.com to put yourself in the perfect mood and get 20% off. So, yeah, watching the game here in the top of the second quarter, and I see Spencer Jones grab Karl-Anthony Towns by the testicles. And I said, that's interesting. Probably deserves a review. And they reviewed it, and they said there was no wind up and follow through. To which I thought to myself, if there was any more of a wind up and follow through, they would have had to put that shit on OnlyFans or YouPorn or whatever your choice of website is, because that was not kosher. I will tell you, wind up and follow through. Come on. Wind up and follow through would have needed to go back and change his underpants. Wind up and follow through. What more follow through do you want? Come on, be a Deshaun Watson situation. Shit. So that's what really put me in the mood tonight. On that note, let's do our stat of the game. Stat of the game tonight, presented by our we need to get a presenting sponsor for this. Our intern extraordinary Kaufman. Stat of the game, 44. As in 44 assists. One shy of the franchise record of 45, which I referenced before, was set a couple of times. A couple other cool stats. Brunson's second game in a row, hitting 15 assists. Here's a fun one. This is his fourth time hitting the mark of 15 assists. 3 of those 4 games against, you guessed it, the Denver Nuggets. We also had 8 garbage time assists for Tyler Kolek. Shout out to him. And 8 garbage time assists in 9 minutes. This is a fun one. The best assist per minute ratio a player has recorded this season if he played at least 3 minutes. And only the third time in NBA history any player has had that ratio in as many minutes as Tyler Kolek played. Wow. Good stats. Good stats from our guy, Jonah Kaufman. Really coming with the heat. Third time in NBA history a player had a assist ratio this good in this many minutes. Very good stuff. Okay. Thanks, Mark. Next up, Kane Marco, Take Mob General. We beat the Spurs, Thunder. We beat them, but lost to the refs and the Nuggets. Also, the best 2 players in that span have been Mike and Kobe, respectfully. Oh goodness, we got Kobe Stan on our hands here. I'm not gonna fight against the Kobe Stans. Listen, Kobe Stans love their guy, and I respect it. I do. I respect it. He is not in that conversation for me. But how could you not love Kobe Bryant? So no argument there. Kevin Danishevsky. The 21-22 Celtics were 18-21, had blown most big leads in the most big leads in the NBA, including versus the Knicks, ending with the RJ shot. We remember that very well. They made the finals and won the chip 2 years later. Sometimes you got to hit rock bottom to come up. Seeing that here, in my opinion, that was such an interesting Celtics season, because I remember it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin. You don't have to do another super chat. We could talk offline. But like, there was like an inexplicability to their season as it was happening before they like went off on this run. It was like, man, this team should really be better than this. which is not an unfair thing to say about the Knicks. I remember there was like locker room stuff, maybe not locker room stuff, but like you would get like, obviously it was Ime, and you'd get like Ime saying some shit, and then you'd get like Tatum and Brown saying some shit, and then you had Marcus Smart still there, and he was kind of a very overbearing personality. It was a funky team that year, but whatever it was, the talent clearly was always there. But don't forget, Derek White trade. Massive galvanizing moment for their team. Obviously, the Knicks got Jose Alvarado. I with all due respect to Jose Alvarado, I don't think he's quite in Derek White's territory. But that was a big moment for that team also. So, worth noting. But, yeah. Thanks, Kev. Robert Cross with another one. First time, long time. It's your boy, John. Let's not lose sight of the offensive force Mitchell Robinson is. Yeah, I think they said he was like approaching his season high tonight. What did they say? His season high was 19. But like this is probably, what was it, second or third highest scoring game of the year? Second highest scoring game of the year. His previous, he had 20, not 19. He had 21 in the loss to Philly. That's when he hit all the free throws. And then his next highest scoring game previously was 12. This is interesting. Mitchell Robinson before tonight had scored double figures 5 times. They had lost 3 of those games. The Philly game, the MLK game to Dallas, and then the Cleveland game a couple weeks ago or a week ago, whatever it was. And then they beat Philly, and then he has had 2 double-digit scoring games against Denver. How about that? That's funny. 2 against Philly, 2 against Denver. What do you know? Mitchell Robinson likes seeing Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic on the other side of the floor. Wouldn't you know it? Gets up for the big ones. Thanks, Robert. Another one from Robert. First time, long time. It's your boy, John. Too late. I am going to bed. I'm sorry, Robert. I wish I could have lasted longer, or I wish you could have lasted longer. There it is. That's it. I got there. Chinese Swede, what's going on? This team is locked in and seems fresh. They have energy all over. Only 3 Knicks in the top 50 for minutes per game. The highest is Brunson at 14th. Last season, all 5 starters were in the top 25 with 3 in the top 10. I personally don't think that is the biggest difference between Mike Brown and Tom Thibodeau. I know it was part of the reason that Mike Brown was hired. Or rather, Tom Thibodeau was fired. But it was going to be one of the things that, was going to be kind of a non-negotiable. Like, you can't play the guys this many minutes. And look, Brown knows when to pick his spots. He look at the minutes against OKC. Like, he ran OG out there for a while. He ran Brunson out there for a while. I think who else played a lot of minutes in that game? Bridges, maybe. So it's not like he's against playing guys minutes, but like you saw it tonight. You think Tibbs would have taken out the starters with 8 minutes and change or almost 9 minutes to go? Not a chance in hell. And again, you're talking about what's the difference? 3-4 minutes? Well, maybe that stuff matters. But whatever it is, the guys seem fresh. The guys absolutely seem fresh. It's a really great call by you, Chinese Swede. And it's another contender for chat of the night. Joseph Sikola, what's going on, brother? Thank you for the very generous contribution here. The only comparison I could think of is the 2006-2007 Giants with the undefeated Pats in Week 17. The Knicks are a better team than those Giants, but the comparison fits. Like those G-men, the Knicks now know how good they are. Tough for me to do cross-sport comparisons just because football season is like so unique. And also, the football playoffs are so unique in that you could argue that with that Week 17 win, it gave the Giants like a shot in the arm. And what did they need to do? They needed to win 4 games. So obviously, football team needs to win 4 games to win the title. Sometimes they've only needed to win 3 games to win the title because of the bye. Basketball team has to win 4 games to win a series. So I appreciate the comparison. I get the spirit of the comparison. I'm not pushing back against any of that. But like, football playoff runs are so unique. Like I was a Steeler fan for most of my life, and their Super Bowl win that happened over the Seahawks in what the hell year was that? 2004, I think. Like, that team was like up and down. They went through, I think, a 3-game losing streak. And then I think they won their last 2 or 3 of the regular season. And then it really kind of set them on the course. And then thank God Ben Roethlisberger tackled who the hell was that guy? Just prevented a touchdown in a big game. That was 2006? I think it was the Seahawks win was 2006, or was that when was the Cardinals win? The Cardinals, I think, was 2008. I don't know. It all runs together. You know what? It had to be 2000. It couldn't have been 2004 because I was already bartending at my 3rd bar, and I was not there by the time I think I was 21. I had to have been older. So I think you're right. I think it was 2006. Anyway, thanks, Joseph. Good thinking there. Hush with another one. Can y'all do a breakdown of the defense since the turnaround? I'm curious what schemes changed. I know we push players baseline now than the middle rather than the middle. Yeah, we got to get DJ on the horn for that one. We are due for a X's and O's next week. So yeah, one way or another, we'll get some sort of defensive breakdown, whether on the regular pod or more likely, I'm sure DJ will think up something even better on the Patreon side of things. So yeah, got another one from Hush coming up. I don't want to ruffle feathers, but how can we not include Mo in the playoff rotation when Deuce is back? His length alone helps our defense. I don't know. It's a tough decision, but what would you do? Meaning, what would I do? You want to know what I would do? Well, whatever I would do, I think the Knicks should do the opposite of. So tonight, I'm just want to look at something. Hold on. So Jose Alvarado, I just want to look at his minutes. Because at first I was kind of like putting Alvarado in pen for like 20 minutes a game. And his minutes the last several. When he first got here, it was 25, 18, 18, 20, 19, 25, 21. Last 4, 13 minutes, blowout win, granted, over Milwaukee. 17 minutes San Antonio, 17 minutes Detroit, a little under 12 minutes tonight. So maybe there's a world where Alvarado's like really closer to like a 13, 14, 15 minute a game player in the playoffs. I don't see Shamit's minutes going anywhere. Like, I don't see any universe where Shamit plays under 20 minutes a game. None. I don't think Mike Brown wants to live in that universe, and I don't think we're going to, and I don't think we should live in that universe. Mitch, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that Mitchell Robinson shouldn't play the maximum amount of minutes that Mitchell Robinson can physically play. So, but Mitch and Cat are kind of their own thing. And then it's just about, well, if Mitch could play more minutes, then you maybe pair him up with Cat for a little bit more, which is what I really like to see. But again, that takes a little bit of time away from somewhere because OG's getting his 35, 36, 37 as he should because he's such an important player for this team. So like, even if you're like, well, that's the bigs, like there's a trickle down effect. So if you knock, Jose down to like, let's say 14, 15 a game, maybe Deuce, you just a lot, 13, 14 for him out of the gate. And then if he's really got it going and he shows you, give you a little bit more, maybe you give him more. The thing I cannot get away from, and this may be odd for someone who consistently defends the Josh Hart starting lineup. But I do that more because I have my reasons. Deuce is such a good player. He's a better player than Jose Alvarado. He's a better player than Mohamed Diawara. He's a better player than Landry Shamet. I love Landry Shamet. You know, like there's an argument he's a better player than Josh Hart. I never would have thought in a million years I would have said that. But like, given everything that Deuce brings to the table, it's at least a discussion. And how valuable he is from above the break. He's the only guy who shoots above the break threes effectively, consistently on this team. So the notion that I want to cut minutes from Deuce McBride, like, yeah, you play him whatever, 12, 13, 14, 15 when he's first back. But if he shows you can handle that and he's helping you win, like, you don't want to cut any more of those minutes. So then, you go down the list. Where are the minutes coming from? That's ultimately all it's about. It's a question of where are the minutes coming from. And what I keep going back to is keep giving Mo these little stints. You want to put him in with the first substitution wave, which is what Mike Brown's been doing in the midway through the first quarter. Leave him out there for 3-4 possessions. And if you like what you see, maybe roll with him for a little bit longer. If you don't like what you see, pull him. We've seen Mike Brown do it before. Put him out there for literally like 2 minutes and then pull him 2-3 minutes. I think that's fine. And you could do that with Mohamed Diawara. You know where you're not going to do that with? You're not putting out Jose Alvarado out there for 2 minutes and then pulling him. So that's what I would do. And there's going to be some games where Diawara gets 2 minutes for the whole game. And there's going to be other games where he plays 10 minutes or 12 minutes. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. And then, so technically, will you have a 10-man rotation? Yeah, I guess you will. But it's really more like 9.5. Another one from Hush here. Good question there. Good question. Where'd it go? 2 50 points blowouts, 1 40-point close. Maybe I was too harsh on him. Listen, nobody was harsher on him than me. And, I don't want to say I feel bad about it. Nobody feels sillier about it than I do. Because I'm 43. I've been watching, or no, actually, I'm not 43. I'm 42. Why am I aging myself? I got 2 more months left at 42. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of them. 42, watching this sport for a long time. I know better. I know 82 games is a long fucking time. It's a long season. And you see things during the season that look very real. Good and bad. Like we're all sky high right now. We probably should come down a cloud or two. Because the team is never as good as it looks when it's playing great, never as bad as it looks when it's playing like shit. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I've talked about it a bunch. Something about that night, it's a culmination of a lot of pent up frustration about this team, but they've battled back and they have, I think, reeled us all in again. So yeah. Thanks, Hush. Taxi Dave. What's going on, Taxi Dave? Wow, that was fun. The Knicks scored 142 points with Cap scoring only 9. The defense was outstanding again. I'm impressed. I hope they play like this in LA. I'm going to both games sporting my Brunson jersey. Good for you, man. I'm jealous. I hope you have a great time. I'm sure those tickets were not cheap. Enjoy yourself. Bring good vibes. And I hope you get to celebrate another couple of wins. Thanks, Taxi Dave. Spence from the West. What's going on? We don't hate Josh Hart. We know how important he is. We are tired of watching the starting lineup suck without trying something new. We watched it all of last year. LOL. But that's the thing, is they don't suck. They don't suck. I just told you before. If maybe you didn't hear that part, but go look at their numbers in the second halves of games. It's not a tiny sample size. Their starting lineup. Here, I'll pull it up right now. We got a couple extra minutes. They suck out of the gate. I agree with you. More often than not, especially when they face a good team, the starting lineup in the first quarter leaves a lot to be desired. Guess what? I could point to you other starting lineups that they've tried it out, including the vaunted Deuce starting lineup. And guess what? That starting lineup sucked out of the gate when the Knicks played that. I think that there is something that happens to this team sometimes when they start games that is just in their head. I cannot tell you what it is. If I could tell you what it is, I probably wouldn't be doing this. I don't even think Mike Brown knows what it is, but it is definitely a thing. So, and again, the amount of frustration that gets taken out on Josh Hart for what is ultimately a collective failure. No one player, no matter how good or bad, makes a lineup work or not work. It is the five guys together. It was the five guys together last year, and it's the five guys together this year. So, here, second halves of games this year. The Knicks starting five in 179 minutes. I don't know if this is inclusive of tonight. It might be. It might not be. Plus 11.8 points per 100 possessions. 120.3 offensive rating. That would rank about first in the league. 108.5 defensive rating. That would rank second in the league. Tough to do much better. And you look at some of the peripheral numbers. The starting five in the second halves of games, again, 179 minutes, not nothing, have a 71 assist percentage. That is elite. They have a 2.45 assist to turnover percentage. That is elite. They're shooting it. Effective field goal percentage, 59.5. That is elite. Like, this lineup can work. It has worked. It is working at times. It just doesn't work out of the gate. So look, all I ask with this conversation, and it's the reason why I get bent out of shape about it, all I ask is that the conversation is fair. That's all it is. Just have it be a fair conversation with open eyes, open minds, and consider all of the data. That's all. Another one from Spence, I think, coming up. It's straw man to say we hate Josh Hart. Let's go Knicks. Well, there's some people out there who hate Josh Hart. I guarantee you that. Even if they don't publicly admit it. I'm not going to say anything else about that because Mark yelled at me after the last post game. I don't want to get yelled at by Mark. Yeah, Mark it might not look it. He's got a ferocious bite. So I don't want to get yelled at again. Greg Film Stuff, what's going on? Thank you for the generous contribution. I loved how New York made it a point to get to the ball to Mitch early and often tonight. I think we might have our winner for chat of the night here. My issue is, can they repeat that approach the next game? Offensively, this is the OG we're going to need to win a title. This team looks ready for May. Can they repeat the approach the next game? It depends on who the next opponent is. And I'm saying that facetiously because I know who the next opponent is. It's the Lakers, who I don't know what's going on with DeAndre Ayton. I know DeAndre Ayton left a recent game. He got hurt or whatever. I think this was a great way specifically to exploit Nikola Jokic as the five-man for Denver. This is obviously not a strong suit of his to be vertical at the rim. And I also think they probably caught the Denver Nuggets off guard a little bit because guess who doesn't throw a ton of lobs is Jalen Brunson. So and then OG Anunoby throwing one. OG is not exactly known as a lob thrower. So, I think it's something that I love that they have it in their back pocket. Am I going to count on Mitchell Robinson being that sort of an offensive weapon moving forward? I would love to. I wouldn't rule it out. Let me just say that. I wouldn't rule it out. But I think so much of it is dependent on how teams are going to play the Knicks. There are some pick and roll, lob dunk combinations that are not defense independent, but because of the people that you feature, I think they are more translatable. I don't know that I would say the Knicks have any such combination, even if Mitchell Robinson has always been really good at throwing this stuff down. It's a really good question, Greg. Is this something that is there a real reason we can't be doing this 3-4 times a game? It's a great question. So yeah. Thanks, Greg. Jason M. What's going on, Jason? I told you not to give up on this team. # unlikable. You did. You did. I was Yves Little Faith, and you had it, Jason. You win this round, my friend, and I'm very happy you did. Pundertaker with another one. Next time I hear about a Spencer Jones demolishing New York balls, it better be a home run for the Yankees. I did not know that there was a Yankee by the name of Spencer Jones. Let's look up Spencer Jones Yankees. Oh, this kid looks like he's about 12. Who is this? Oh, he's a prospect. How old is this kid? He's 24. Oh, so he's not that young. There you go. Mark, you're familiar with this gentleman? A little bit? Okay. Baseball America, 46th ranked prospect. That's good. Baseball Prospectus, 33. Okay, so he's good. He's a good player. Yeah, absolutely. Let's have Spencer Jones of the Yankees mashing balls as opposed to Spencer Jones of the Denver Nuggets. All right, last chat. James Lou, AD is age of dominance. So BC before crash out, AD age of dominance. I hope so. I think so. I'm going to workshop it a little bit more. I don't dislike it. I'm going to think about it some more. And of course, Danishevsky has another one here. Oh God. What are we doing? Danishevsky, who do you trust, Tommy D or Robert Randolph? Hashtag Friday New York Knicks. Are these two people in communication with each other on Twitter today? Is that something that happened? Like, talk about crossing the streams. My God. I have nothing to say about either of those fine, upstanding gentlemen, and I'll leave it at that. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate you as always. Oh, this is good. Chinese Swede. I think we got this one. Chinese Swede says after detonation. So before crash out and after detonation. I think that's the winner. That's got to be the winner, right? Yeah. Okay. Chinese Swede. Is that the last one, by the way, Mark? Chinese Swede, between this one and your last one, which I don't know if you happen to have it still up. Congratulations. You are, for one of those, winner of our chat of the night. Do me a favor, shoot an email to knicksfilmschool@gmail.com and say, hey, it's me. And we'll go ahead and get you $25 in FANCASH, courtesy of our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook. So congratulations to you. All right, is that it? We did it, Joe. It's a little after 1 a.m. That's not bad. It's a Friday night after all. We're all adults. Thank you, everybody, for checking out another episode of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show. We hope everybody enjoyed this episode. I certainly did. And we will be back. What will we be back with? We got some great content coming up this weekend. Laker game, obviously, on Sunday. And then last reminder for me, at least, come out to Penn 6 for the Brunchin' with Brunson watch party, getting things kicked off at 2:30, tip off at 3 p.m. Should be a great game. This team is playing out of its mind right now. If you were a Knicks fan and you're not fully on board this train, and this is coming from me, I don't know what you're doing because it's rare that you get any team that's ever going to play level of ball like the Knicks are playing right now. So hats off to them. Thank you to them for giving us this. This is a lot of fun. Makes being a fan a lot of fun right now. Very, very likable. All right. That's it. You know where to find us. You know how to help us out. Please do all those things to support the show. And we'll be back with more fun and games before you know it.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatics Sportsbook app.